Hello, good morning to all of you. I'm Shitiju Preti and I'm welcome to all of you in my YouTube channel, Metronic Skills. And I will come with a new topic, Introduction to Quadratic Equation. Let's start with a new introduction with a chapter, Introduction to Quadratic Equation. That will be beneficial for all the students for ITG mains for class 11th and 12th. Let's start with quadratic equation. So the topics covered in the quadratic equations topics, quadratic equation, second, roots of a quadratic equation, sum and products of roots, discriminants, nature of roots, relations between roots and coefficients, and at last but not least, methods of solving quadratic equation. Basically, factorization method, division method, and the various other methods that are helpful in solving the quadratic equation. So let's start with the topic quadratic equation. And so first of all, I will define that what is quadratic equation. The standard quadratic equation is represented in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, c are the real numbers and a is not equal to 0. That means it is a polynomial function that having a degree of 2 maximum, and it will have two roots. So ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0, and it has real coefficients a, b, c. And secondly, what is the roots of a quadratic equation? It is a basic formula for the quadratic equation to finding the roots. It has two roots because maximum it has a degree of 2. So it has a formula x is equal to minus b plus minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So b square minus 4ac is also called the discriminant. So it has the two roots that we can find with the help of this formula. Let's come with the sum of roots that plays an important role in the quadratic equation. What is the sum of roots? Sum of roots, that means it have the quadratic equations to have two roots alpha and beta. So if we sum of that, so it will give the answer minus b upon a, because from the equation ax square plus bx plus c, and the coefficient of x is minus b, that is b, and the coefficient of x square is equal to a. So minus b upon a, it is the sum of roots alpha plus beta minus b upon a. And secondly, if we find the product of roots, it is alpha multiplication beta, that is c upon a. It is the coefficient of c, that is constant, and the coefficient of x square, that is a. So c upon a. And thirdly, that is the difference of roots. If we find the difference of roots, so it is root d divided by modulus of a. Modulus means the absolute function or absolute value, because if we find it, if we put the value, any negative value under that modulus function, so it will give the positive output. And root d is, d represent b square minus 4ac, that is called discriminant. So this is the difference of roots. So these are the three major expressions that will be helpful to find the solutions or questions and to become the problem easy. So let's start with the discriminant. What is called the discriminant of a standard quadratic equation? If we have a standard quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, so discriminant is equal to b square minus 4ac, where a, b, c are the real coefficients of a square plus bx plus c. Secondly, discriminant plays a beneficial and important role to finding the nature of roots of the quadratic equations. So it will totally depend on the coefficients of the quadratic equation. So to find the nature of roots, let's start with discriminant d is equal to b square minus 4ac. First case, if we have taken, if d is greater than 0, that will, it has two distinct and real roots. Distinct means it has two unique roots. Secondly, d is equal to 0, it means it has two equal and real roots. And third case, d is less than 0, it means it has imaginary and unequal roots. Fourth case is d greater than 0 and d is a perfect square, that means roots are rational and unequal. Rational roots means it is in the form of fractions also, but that you have read out in the number systems, that the rational roots and irrational. So rational are the in the form of fractions, and irrationals are in the form of that root 3, root 4, root 5, root 7. That is in the form of in the square roots. So exponent forms. So second, fourth case is z greater than 0, and d is a perfect square. So the roots are rational and unequal. And the last case is the d greater than 0 and d is not a perfect square. The roots are irrational. Irrational means in the form of the square roots and unequal. So let's start with the conjugate roots. Conjugate roots are comes in the form of complex numbers and the irrational numbers. So in the complex numbers, when we solve the questions, and if we have a root of a alpha plus I beta, that is iota, it so second root is definitely come with alpha minus I beta. So it is a conjugate. Conjugate means it is a difference of minus. If one root is plus, then second root is of course minus. That is a plus b iota. Then second root is of course definitely will come out of a minus b iota. So these are the conjugate roots. So let's come with the formation of quadratic equation with given roots. If we have the two roots, that is alpha and beta of a quadratic equation, then x minus alpha multiplied by x minus beta is equal to 0. Then we multiply both the equations or both the multiples, then it will give x square minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta is equal to 0. That means alpha plus beta is the sum of roots. Alpha multiply beta is the product of roots, and we have read out before earlier, that is alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, and alpha plus beta is equal to c upon a. If we put that roots on that, then it will automatically give the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So these are the things that we correlate between the relations, roots and coefficients. So sum of roots, product of roots, difference of roots, and these are the things that makes a quadratic equation. So relation between roots and coefficients plays a very important role in solving the various IT teaching in questions, and that we have solved various many questions and trained the students about that topic. So relation between root and coefficients plays a very beneficial role, because in 2019, 2020 JEE Main Advanced, and the various questions are come out in between the roots and coefficients. So let's start with the alpha. Take alpha and beta, the two roots of a quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So these are the some relations that we have to learn and have to practice on that, so that the questions will take less time and that the problems will be solved out in a minimum time. So these are the some very basic formulas, that is alpha square plus beta square. That means alpha square plus beta square, it will give automatically alpha plus beta ka whole square minus 2 alpha beta. It is a basic formula that we have also learned in the linear algebra, that is a plus b whole square, that is a square plus b square plus 2 alpha beta ab. That is, if we have a square plus b square, then it will give a plus b whole square minus 2ab. So that is the same formula that we have applied on that equation. So it will give the answer b square minus 2ac divided by a square. So it is that expression that we have to learn before implementing to solve on that question. So it will directly give an output on that question. If we have to find the quotient or value of alpha square plus beta square, then we have to apply b square minus 2ac divided by a square. Alpha minus beta, that we have solved, we have discussed earlier between the root d divided by a. If we have given modulus of alpha minus beta, then it is root d divided by a. If we have the difference of roots, then we apply directly plus minus root d, that is discriminant, and discriminant means d, that is equal to b square minus 4ac divided by a. So these are the some values. Alpha square minus beta square, that is a square minus b square, and it has value alpha plus beta and alpha minus beta, and alpha minus beta that we have. These are the values. So these are some values that we have to learn directly as a formula that will help in solving problem in a very less time. Alpha cube minus beta cube, it is also in formula that is a minus cube b ka whole cube plus 3 alpha beta alpha minus beta. So we apply alpha minus beta whole cube, that is b square minus ac under root b square minus 4ac divided by a cube. So these are some expressions we have to learn directly so that it will less time consume and make the answer definite. And so let's come with the start. It is a very important and the major topic that we under the quadratic equation subtopic, that is a graph of a quadratic equation. So it is a very important task for all the students to understand the graph of a quadratic equation in depth, because if we understand the graph of a quadratic equation in depth, so it will sort out all the problems with graph also. So let's start. The graph of a quadratic equation has a parabolic form or parabolic shape, that is in the U shape or U curve. So it is drawn along that. It is the x-axis and it is the y-axis that we have drawn. And when we drawn ax square bx plus c, so it is a condition when a is greater than 0. So it is drawn like that. It is called vertex. The minimum point in the graph is called curve, that is called vertex. It is the x-axis, it is the y-axis, and it is the axis of symmetry that will divide the curve in the two equal parts. And the curve that will, it has two roots, that is two roots mean x-intercepts that cut the x-axis into different positions or to different points. Because quadratic equations have two roots, so it will cut into two different points, that is that points. Suppose it is -1, suppose it is +3. So it has two roots, x minus 1 and s equal to 3. So graph of a quadratic equation, it is always be denoted in the parabolic form or it is in the U curve. So it is a very beneficial and important point for all the students to learn that graph. So what is the conditions of a graph? The graph of a quadratic equations is called a parabola, and if e is greater than 0, that means a, that is the coefficient of x square. If it is positive, then the graph will open upwards like that. And if coefficient of x square is minus, then the graph is open like downwards, like that. If the coefficient of x square is positive, means a greater than 0, it will open like that, upwards. And if a is less than 0, the graph of a quadratic equation will open like downwards. So that are the two conditions that we have to follow: a greater than 0 and a less than 0. So these are those conditions that we have to follow before solving any question, because the coefficient of x square plays a major role in solving the questions. Because lots of students had made a mistake in solving that questions because they had not judged the properly that the coefficient of x square is positive or it is either minus negative. So secondly, discriminant. Value of discriminant determines whether the graph of a quadratic equation will. There are three conditions. If d is greater than 0, so it will cut the axis of x in two distinct points. That means at two distinct points means x-intercept plus. It will be x is equal to -2, x is equal to +2. That will have two distinct roots and real. So this is the condition that we have discussed earlier when we described the nature of roots. So d is greater than 0 and the graph of a quadratic equation will intersect the x-axis at two different points or unique points. Second case, if the d is equal to 0, then it will touch the axis only, not intersect axis at two different points or unique points. It will only touch the axis and it will give the two equal values that are real and that form. The graph of that condition d is equal to 0 is x. It will only touch the axis. Third condition, when d is less than 0, the graph of a quadratic equation never touches the x-axis. That means it is an imaginary graph imaginary. Has imaginary roots and unequal. It has imaginary roots that it has that type. So these are the three conditions that we have discussed, that d is greater than 0, then it will intersect the x-axis in two distinct points and it will give two distinct roots. Secondly, if we'll have d is equal to 0, then it will only touch the x-axis and give two equal roots that are real. And thirdly, if d is less than 0, then it will never touch the x-axis and give imaginary roots. So these are the three conditions that we have to follow on solving any question of a quadratic equation, because it will be very beneficial for all the students. So to know all of the knowledge about the graph and all the conditions about the d, so it will be very helpful to all the students to solve the questions in a very less time and perfectly. So let's solve about the topic, subtopic maximum and minimum value. So I have discussed also through the graph. So consider the quadratic equation or expression ax square plus bx is equal to c. So it has two conditions also that we have discussed earlier, a less than 0 and a greater than 0. So if we have also discussed earlier that if coefficient of x square a is less than 0, then it will open downwards. So maximum value of x through, so let us discuss through the graph. If a value of a is less than 0, then it will open downwards. Not if a is greater than 0, it will open upwards. So value of vertex that we will call x, x is equal to minus b by 2a. If we'll open x, value of a is less than 0, that means minus a. So it is open downwards. X is equal to, that will open like that. It gives x is equal to minus b upon 2a. It is gives greater value. It will give greater value. X is equal to maximum minus b upon 2a. It will give minimum value called vertex. Both are called vertex. X is called minus b upon 2a, minimum value. It gives maximum value. X is equal to minus b upon 2a. These both of them called vertex. So these are the expression. If a is less than 0, the greatest value at x is equal to minus b upon 2a that we have discussed earlier, and the maximum value that is called y is equal to minus d upon 4a. And if a is greater than 0, then if we open upwards, so it will give the least value x minus b upon 2a, and the minimum value that is y minus d upon 4a. So it is an expression that we have to learn that will give directly the maximum and minimum value of a quadratic equation and the expression. So all the students always remind that we have to learn that expression, so it will be helpful to give the maximum and minimum value of a quadratic equation. So it is also the very important topic, that is condition for a common roots. Condition for a common roots have two subtopics that we have to follow, or conditions. If we have only one common root, that means if we have an expression or quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, so and we have two quadratic equations like a1 x square plus b1 x plus c1 is equal to 0, and the second quadratic equation is a2 x square plus b2 x plus c2 is equal to 0, then alpha is the common root, one common root of the above quadratic equations. That means if we have a common root or a root, that it can, according to the condition relation between roots and coefficient, root is always satisfied the particular equation. So we have alpha has a common root, then it will satisfy the equation. So we put the value x is equal to alpha in both the equations. So the equation will become a1 alpha square plus b1 alpha plus c1 is equal to 0. And second equation will become a2 alpha square plus b2 alpha plus c1 alpha is equal to 0. So answer will become, for one common root c1 a2, it will become opposite c2 a1 whole square B1 C2 minus B2 C1, it will become vice versa. A1 B2 minus A2 B1. So it is the expression that we have to learn for only one common root, find the quotient. So this is the expression that we have to learn. And if we have to find both the roots are common, that means that we have alpha and beta, that both the roots satisfy the condition. So the equation will become A1 upon A2 equal to B1 upon B2 and equal to C1 upon C2. So these are the conditions for only one common root and for both the roots are common. So we have to learn both the conditions for the roots common. That will be helpful and they plays an important role to solve the questions for IT and JMIN questions or for basics of class 11th and 12th. So students, please remind and note in all that with the highlighter or mark them so that they will be helpful for the future in solving the questions. So quadratic expressions in two variables. If we have quadratic equation in the form of two variables, let's start with ax square plus 2hxy plus bx square plus 2gx plus 2 of y plus 2 is equal to 0. It has quadratic equation. Quadratic equation means it has degree of 2. That means maximum degree of 2. And two variables, that in x and y. So it will form ax square plus by square plus 2hxy plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c is equal to 0. So it is the general form of a quadratic equation in two variables x and y. To resolve the expression in two linear rational factors, the condition is delta d is equal to 0. Delta means discriminant. Discriminant means b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. So we have to find the discriminant. So that is not discriminant, it is called determinant. Sorry for talking. Sorry, it is not a discriminant, it is a determinant. It is determinant is has a topic that is concerned with the matrix form. If we learn with the matrix and determinants, so if you have to find the determinant, so these are the equation we have to write in the form of determinant in the matrix form, or a h g h b f g f c. So these are the coefficient of all the variables in that, or it will give also 0. Determinant is always be equal to 0 in that expression. So when it will be 0, so abc plus 2fg minus af square minus bg square minus ch square is equal to 0, and h square minus ab is always greater than 0. So these are the two conditions we have to follow when we have general form of a quadratic equation, two variables in x and y. So these are the various conditions that we have to follow before this is the discriminant or determinant. This is called represented by the determinant, not a discriminant. It is a problem from my side. So let's take with a few examples. I will come in the next lecture with all of the ITG mains important questions of 2019, 2020, ITG mains advanced 2018. But it's some examples for a review to clear the concepts that we have learned earlier. So suppose question 1, a and b are the integers that we know very well. What are the integers? And a plus b is a root of x square plus ax plus b. It is a quadratic equation that is have given x square plus ax plus b is equal to 0, and a plus b is a root. What is the maximum possible value of b square? So first of all, that is a clue, or it is a condition that we have given that a plus b is a root. So it is a relation between roots and coefficient. So when we have a given a root, so it will satisfy the given quadratic equation. So first of all, we have to satisfy that quadratic equation root in that following condition. So x is equal to a plus b. So we will put x is equal to a plus b in that equation, and it will become like that. A plus b whole square, a multiply a plus b is equal to 0. And after solving that, the equation will become that. So this is the quadratic equation, b square plus 3a plus b 2a square. So we have to find the root, that is x is equal to minus b plus minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. That is the formula that we implemented in that quotient. So we had got d a square plus 6a plus b plus 0. So we have to follow, or we have to make it will a perfect square. So to make a perfect square, we have become 2 equal to 0, because 1 is a constant, so it will never affect these terms because these are the variable terms. So we will kept outside. So ax square plus 6a is equal to 0. So if we make the products, make the multiples or factors, so it will a plus 6 is equal to 0. So it will give a is equal to 0 or a equal to minus 6. So they have condition where if a is equal to 0, then the b is equal to minus 1 or 0, because if a is equal to 0, then we put the value in that equation. So we will get minus 1 or 0 if we'll put in that. So it will give b is equal to 9 or 8. So we have to find the maximum value of b square. So let's take one by one. Minus 1 ka whole square, that is 1, 0 whole square 0, 8 square 64, 9 square 81. So that 9 square, we pick the b value of b is 9. So it will give the maximum value 81. So maximum possible value of b square is 81. So question is solved. It is a very easy question. So it is just a revision of properties that we have learned earlier. Secondly, if the roots of the quadratic equation a minus b x square plus b minus cx plus c minus a is equal to 0 are equal, then these are the four options that we have to think where what is the right option for that. So just that we have given the clue that both the roots are equal. So we have read out about that topic in the nature of roots. If we have d is equal to 0, then the two roots are equal. So that is two roots are equal, then d should also become 0. So this is the condition that we have to apply. We put d is equal to 0, that is b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. And what is b minus c, that is b minus c the whole square, b square minus 4ac, a and c and minus 4ac. So that p square minus c whole square minus 4 a and c is equal to 0. So we have sort out that expression that it will become 2a plus bc. So my option B is right, 2a is equal to b plus c. So this is the expression. So it will determine, or it will help that remind me that nature of roots and the relation between roots and coefficients are become beneficial to all the students, that will helpful in solving the questions like that. So always remind that the properties and keep practicing on them, or it will plays a major role to solve all the quadratic questions, whether it is easy, moderate or difficult level. So I hope you will like my video. If you like my video, let's like and subscribe, and I will come with the next lecture with the ITG means questions of a quadratic equation. Then okay, let's thank you. Bye.